Make myself some breakfast this morning. It's gonna be a little bit quicker. Just flew in from Vegas last night doing UFC media, so still kind of getting everything together, things like that. So yeah, this morning I'm just kind of starting off something light, just some yogurt. I do usually about like a cup of yogurt. Homemade granola my girl makes. She's been a big help through this whole process. But yeah, mornings I just try to get something to eat pretty quick done before I get working out. So while I was out in Vegas, I was just doing some stuff for UFC media. So for Contender series, you'll see like a little preview, like a little 15-minute preview of the fighter. I think not even like a 10-minute preview of the fighter before they start walking out. And that's all the media they get. They capture that in one day. So they bring me up. They actually put like makeup on you, all that kind of stuff. They have you do like a sit-down interview in front of a camera. They ask you a whole bunch of questions, just kind of your backstory, things like that. So I did this last year. I was on last year's season of Contender. So this time when they were doing some of the media, it was more just some like follow-up questions of, hey, what happened since last year? What's the process been? Things like that. So it was pretty cool catching up with everybody that I saw last year for Contender, all the people that work in the UFC. A lot of people in the UFC, like one thing that I noticed, like they're really passionate about like working with fighters. Like a lot of those guys, they genuinely like seem to like their job. They really enjoy helping out a lot of the fighters. These just are a bunch of people that do what they do really well, and they just love doing it in the process. I like doing cardio. Like running is good, but you run a lot, you get a lot of, like your knees start hurting, you get shin splints, things like that. So this is one of my favorite pieces of equipment because it's low impact. There's really no impact, and I could go on this for an hour. I won't be too sore. My joints won't be achy, and I can just keep going. Especially when I'm cutting weight. That last week, like I just really burn off some calories and not worry about injuring myself or anything like that. My mindset going into this fight, it's a lot different from any fight that I've gone through before. Even last year, I've had the same exact opportunity, and I thought I was ready for it, And I trained my ass off. I worked hard, and unfortunately, that opportunity slipped through my fingers, and I'll never let that happen again, One thing about losses, they teach you a lot about yourself. They kind of push you through some barriers that you didn't know you had, and yeah. Ever since I lost that last Contender Series fight, in the moment, I was like, fuck, like, that was my opportunity, that was my chance. And, but, I only give myself a minute or two to think that way about it. And then right away, you gotta be like, you know what? I'm still young. I'm willing to put in the work, even if it's harder than I thought it was gonna be. I'm all for it, My goals and the things that I'm trying to achieve are a lot meaningful and have purpose to me, more so than the work that lies ahead. So I'm willing to go through anything, and I can honestly say I'm willing to die for this, So this opportunity, I'm not gonna let it slip through my fingers again. I'm gonna put a hurting on this guy, finish him, put on a good show, earn that contract, and then showing the world that, I mean business. There's 5 minutes on the clock. I'm down 2 rounds. That's the time to push. So I always say, like, ahead of time, like, oh, I want to make it, like a nice, light, easy morning with some cardio, but part of me at the end always wants to just give it that last push, Shout out. Shout out Marshall Inu. They're helping out MMA community. helping fighters from all levels, UFC, even the amateurs, even the smaller promotions. You know, there's a lot of talent out there in the world that we don't even know about, and you know, bringing light to that talent, giving them the resources, giving them some exposure, give them what they deserve. That way they could go out, do what they do best, which is fighting, you know. And Paulo Costa, I think I know what's in your secret juice. It's this right here. That's disgusting. And especially just hopping off the plane, my hamstrings, oh my god. That's one thing I'm not a fan of. I love traveling, but I don't like the process of traveling. Yeah, definitely important to be flexible too. You want to be strong, you want to be able to move around your weight, but it's just as important to be flexible and limber, you know, especially my style too. You know, I like throwing kicks, I like being agile, you know, I like to be able to mix it up, go low, go high. I gotta reach those places, you know, so even though I'm like more of like a shorter, stockier kind of build, I think I surprise people a lot too, because, you know, my level is down here as far as like my height when I'm moving, but it doesn't matter, you know, I can strike up top, whatever, and you know, a lot of people don't expect that, especially when they're fighting, their eye line is down here, and then boom, something comes up top that they don't see. So I want to maintain this. Luckily, I've been doing martial arts for a while. I started doing like karate when I was like 10 years old, so you know, I started stretching way beyond that. Before that, you know, I got inspired by like blood sport, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. He was doing like the splits in the chairs, and when I was real little, I used to emulate that. I used to take 2 chairs, do the splits in them, stuff like that, and then I continued that as I kept going through martial arts, and you know, it's something that I think it's really important to maintain, because when it comes to flexibility, it's really easy to lose as well, especially if you're like working out a lot, getting stronger, you know, building up strength, your muscles will tighten up, and it's hard to maintain that elasticity. So I think while I'm training, improving, getting stronger, you know, I gotta make sure I set time aside to get my stretch in, maintain my flexibility, and just as a safety thing. That's pretty much it for me out here. I just like to stretch, get loose, make sure I'm still limber, and then it's work. So yeah, I'm just getting for lunch 3 eggs and a potato, microwaving. I also like to keep everything tracked. It's helped me a lot. I've had some issues with like weight cutting and dropping weight in the past. It's really hard, especially with the whole calorie intake thing, because when you train, you don't really know how many calories you burn in a training session. Some nights, you know, you might get a really good push, so you know, you'll burn like over 1,000 calories or something like that. Other times you'll get a couple rounds, they might not be as intense, or you know, depending on what goes on for training, it's hard to really calibrate like an exact workout and how many calories it burns. I'll use this app and I'll like count my calories. So I'll literally log in like eggs. So I'll list, you know, eggs. It'll tell me, okay, 3 eggs, 214 calories. I'll add that. I'm 3 weeks out from my fight, so right now I'm like ranging between 1,600 and 2,000 calories in a day. You know, I'm training twice a day, so I hit an hour on the bike out there tonight.
Is that a regulation 5?
Like it's just a relentless pressure, man. It's a great push. I'm working my way to where he is now, and like he said earlier, like he's ready to fight the best of the world, and I bring that same energy with him. And when you have those 2 energies colliding, it's just nothing but elevation and growth. He's just all well-rounded, like constant pressure, never gives up. He just pushes the pace, and he's the one that always tells me, hey, look, we got to stay in the fight. So it was good to see that back and forth, staying in that fight and making sure that mental aspect is there, because when Dana White sees that, he wants to see the knockout, all the glory, but he wants to make sure people are pushing the pace and pushing that action, and Brandon definitely delivers that.
One more.
I think Brandon's going to be one of the best fighters in the world by the time this whole thing's over with. The energy in the gym's fantastic right now. You know, we have a lot of momentum with a lot of guys coming off of wins. So the gym's feeling good. This is just another chance for us to prove ourselves on a higher platform of what we're capable of and what our guys are capable of. The control is good. And it makes you focus more on using your legs because you can't use your hands.
I feel good, considering, preparing for a fight. Whenever you got a fight coming up, you always got, little bumps, bruises, aches, pains. You feel sore. Your body's telling you every reason why you shouldn't be doing it, but you got to stay strong mentally and push through. So, I feel good. I feel good. The best shape I've ever been preparing for a fight. It's a big opportunity I had ahead of me, so I'm thankful for my teammates. They're pushing me, They're getting me better every day. It's just, it's a lot of work, but without them, without people surrounding me, pushing me, being a good influence on me, I couldn't do it without them. It's a very, even though you step in that cage alone, it's just you and one other guy, it's very much a team sport, if that makes sense, It's a team effort here. All these guys, they're helping pushing me, so, the training, it's good, it's pushing new heights, pushing new limits, and it's exciting, You learn about yourself every time you think you push yourself past to a certain point. You're like, oh, that's the best I got, and then next week you step it up. You find a way to step it up, keep pushing through, and breaking boundaries. And that's what it's about: breaking boundaries, keep pushing your limits until you're at the top. So, and that's where I plan to be, is at the top. This guy, he's not prepared in the way that I'm prepared mentally in here. He could be as good as he wants inside of that cage, but it doesn't matter who I'm fighting in there. I'm ready. I'm ready to fight the best in the world up here.
There you go. Take him down. Take him down. Hey, cross face. Turn your head. Go. Turn your hips. Turn your hips. Turn your hips. Turn your hips. Have both feet facing towards that cross face. That other arm's not going to do you nothing. Use that to get another.
Hook his leg with your leg, Colin. Nice.
There you go. There you go. That's why I face straight up near the end.
Brandon's always been very, he's what I call a martial artist, like he's always trying to improve, he's always trying to get better. He's obsessed with being better at his craft. He's always, every time he's always asking questions. He's always asked questions, as a matter of fact. He's always trying to improve and grow with the arts, especially now since he's a fighter, he's more involved into MMA. Obviously, he's trying to integrate everything, put everything together, make sure that everything is linked, so he can go transition from his striking to his wrestling to his jiu-jitsu, and become a well-rounded fighter. So throughout the years since I've met Brandon, I remember when he first came around, he was in high school. A kid used to drive like over an hour to come to the gym. And he was always very inquisitive, always trying to learn, always very respectful, and always putting a lot of time. Like, he never shy away from training.
He's one of those that he's too stupid to fucking know he's hurt. He's not going forward. That's what I love about him. Sorry, I'm very like.